Hey there, this is David Pereira from Rent to Grow Homes. Excited to bring you our latest rent to own deal for potential investors. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the numbers and explain sort of the logic, the reason I think this is a good tenant buyer to get behind, and sort of how all the numbers play out. So the individual that we are working with, his name is Mark. He is currently living in Mississauga, but he's targeting Niagara Falls, Welland, Thorold, St. Catharines area as a place to move. In the last few years, he's kind of gone through some personal stuff and is kind of rebuilding. He is very familiar with the housing industry as he has his mortgage license, was a mortgage broker for quite some time, and has kind of been evaluating rent to own and asking lots of questions about it, and understands it's a good way for him to kind of go through his rebuild and get reestablished. So we've done the same, talked to him, I've met him, gone through his paperwork, understand his story. And one thing I also like about Mark is he is going to be forcing appreciation in his home. What I mean by that is, in this particular set of numbers, the example I put together, the purchase price is $425 today, and he will be buying the house back from the investor at $488, $485. So basically $63,000 difference there. What Mark is going to be doing is actually improving the house. So doing some stuff in the back, putting in decks, doing things to raise the value of the home, which as an investor is great because it pretty much guarantees, if we can use that word, that we'll get the appraisal that we want in 3 years, right? So the things that he's doing is going to force the price up of the house along with sort of natural appreciation. The nice thing is for the investor, okay, well, that raises the probability that we'll get the price we want in 3 years. The nice thing for Mark is all this extra effort he's putting into the home, he gets to reap that reward, right? If he's sinking in, let's say, $50,000 to improve the house, and it forces the price up by $50K because of the work he's done, well, the market price of the house might be $520. We still agree that the exit price will be $488, and he gets to reap his the benefit of the increased equity. So it's really a win-win, and I like the fact that he's going to be doing things to force appreciation. So in our numbers that we can see here, I'll just kind of scroll to the right here. Here's the summary. So the purchase price today is $425. So in 2026, this is a 3-year term. The future price is $488. That's the price that Mark will buy the house back at from the investor. The initial investment from the investor, the net investment, is $86,575. So in this case, that's the down payment, about 20% down payment, and the investor secures the mortgage for this place. And of course, the investor owns this place. The investor is on title, has the mortgage. This is an asset in your portfolio. You'll be getting monthly cash flow of $400. So your cash on cash return is 5.5%. And in terms of the ROI you'll be getting on your investment of $86,000, it's basically 20% annualized. So if I multiply that by 3, 3 times 20 is 60. 60% multiplied by 86,000 is the 51,945. So that's the dollars in profit you'll be receiving over the course of 3 years. And in terms of profit split between the investor and myself, I always try and structure a deal so that the investor gets 2/3 of the pie and I get 1/3. And this deal satisfies that condition. You're getting 67.2%. So going a little bit deeper into the numbers now, we've kind of gone through the starting price at $425. I'm assuming annual appreciation of 4.75, which gets us to $488. So mortgage amount's 80%, investors putting 20% down. I've modeled 4.7 as the interest rate. I've been seeing lower from a lot of my investors and the deals we've done this year, as low as 4. I think the highest was 4.6. So again, I'm being pretty conservative with my estimate here, but we'll see what the actuals are. So the math just kind of works out here. Cash to bank is 85. Legal is about 3,000 when you kind of add everything up. The appraisal cost is 600. Land transfer tax is $49.75 for this purchase price. I charge an upfront fee of 3,000, And then the tenant buyer, Mark, is in for 10,000, right? So this is his skin in the game. This is kind of what keeps him committed to finishing out this program. So if we add all these numbers up, we get to a total of 86,575. That's the net amount that you, the investor, is in for. So let's go to kind of what cash flow looks like. So every month, Mark will be paying on the first of the month rent of $24.50, and then an option credit, an extra savings credit of $500 a month that's due on the 15th of the month. Here are the numbers that, in terms of things that are going out. So the mortgage payment is $1,763, assuming 4.7%, 30-year amortization. I'm estimating insurance and property taxes. These will be variable, and once we see the actuals. But the total out, based on this example, is $22.38. So I subtract this number from this number, and I get $712 per month. So what I've modeled right now is $400 to the investor, and then I take a property management fee of $150 per month. If the investor is looking for more cash flow, we can bump this up to $500. It just reduces the amount of profit you get on the back end. Your total profit is still always going to be the same. So let's talk about closing now in 2029. So we've said that the property price is $488. He's put in an initial deposit of $10K, accumulated option credits. So this is the 36 months times 500 is $18K. So we have to give these two things back to the tenant buyer. There's the mortgage discharge, legal. So there's a legal for the investor at this point. And of course, we return your initial investment of $86,575. So the total proceeds from the deal of sale here is $48K. If we look at overall deal profit, how much profit is available in this deal? So the appreciation, which is the delta between the 425 and the 488. There was mortgage pay down over 3 years. We received some rental cash flow. So add these three up, and the total profit here is 87,000. But we had some hard costs of the legal on the front end, the legal on the back end, and the land transfer tax. So the actual total profit on the deal is about 77,000. Now going back to your numbers, your initial investment was 86,000. I mentioned 20% per year, 3 years gives you 60%. Multiply that 60% by the 86 number, and that is the targeted return to the investor. In this example, you're receiving $400 a month for 36 months, which is 14,400. And so if I subtract 51 minus the 14, this means at close, you would receive the remaining 37,545. Then in terms of how much money I get on the deal, so this is just, this doesn't take into account my expenses and management, all those things, but the net revenue to me is 3,000 upfront, 150 a month times 36 months. And then this is kind of what's left over once we make sure you get what you're promised. And so that's my total, 25K. And again, total profit of the deal is 77. There's our splits, which means, again, the investor is getting 2/3 and I'm getting 1/3, around that. So if this is interesting to you, or these types of deals are interesting to you, again, no maintenance at all, because the tenant buyer is responsible for maintenance costs, shoveling snow. You're not going to receive phone calls about needing a plumber to come because of a leaky toilet at night. So this is the kind of stuff that you're looking for, passive investing, but helping someone get on their feet and investing in real estate. Let me know. Again, David Pereira with Rent to Grow Homes, and I can be reached at info@renttogrowhomes.com.